Hello, I'm Jack, and this is my grace story. In February of 2023, I was back in Maryland visiting family and noticed that something was off in my neck. So we scheduled a doctor's appointment and did a lot of tests. And as many of you know, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer in March of 2023. When you hear that word cancer, I mean, automatically my mind went to fear. Right? And so I'm thinking about my future with Alex. I'm thinking about my kids. I'm thinking about, man, am I going to be able to see them graduate high school? Am I going to be able to give my son advice? Am I going to be able to be there and dance with my daughter on her wedding day? And I'm like just consumed by this fear. And yet through that time, I just felt God whisper to my heart, be still and know that I am God. We went and met with the doctors, and I'm so blessed to have a wife, Alex, who is a physician assistant in oncology. So she was able to go with me to all my appointments, talk to the doctors, and for me, just not being a very smart guy, to hear them talk back and forth, it was like they were speaking in a whole different language. And then Alex would later be my Holy Spirit interpreter, right? And she would just tell me, okay, this is what this means. I know it sounds overwhelming, but it's actually good. It's okay. Here's what we need to do. And through that, I felt God whisper, be still and know that I am God. In April, I had surgery at Cox to remove my thyroid and all the lymph nodes that were affected with cancer. And so, you know, in that time, I remember waking up in the hospital bed the next morning and just trying to calm down to be able to go home. And they're taking my blood pressure, and it was crazy high. It was like 185 over 140 or something like that. And they're like, we need to get your blood pressure down. I'm like, well, you keep picking me with stuff and pricking me with needles, and I didn't sleep last night. Of course my blood pressure's high, but again, I felt God say, be still and know that I'm God. I was released from the hospital, had several weeks in there to recuperate and recover, and God was in the middle of all of that. And then we went to camp, and I was able to go to camp and experience that with the kids. And all through that time, people were like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you going to be able to make it? And yeah, because God's with me, and I'm being still, and I know who He is inside of me. And then in July, we went through my radiation treatment, which was by pill, and I had to quarantine for 5 days. And I'm telling you this, it's really weird to quarantine when you feel absolutely fine. But apparently I was radioactive. I didn't turn green. I didn't get big muscles, so it wasn't that kind of radioactivity. But that helped kill any remaining cancer cells that were left. But again, even in the midst of that quarantine, even in the midst of being by myself, which I don't do really well, I just felt God's peace over me saying, be still and know that I am God. And then so several weeks after that, I had a full body scan, went in for that, and the results came back, and my body was 100% cancer free. And that was a praise to God. It was a relief. And yet through all of the whole situation, starting even in February and March, getting that diagnosis, and really, even in the midst of the fear, I had a sense of peace because God was in me, and He kept telling me, be still and know that I'm God. I don't know what kind of situation you're going through, but I do know this, is that you're not alone, and you can be still and know that He is God.